It took me a while to get the hang of chain stitch. It was so unfamiliar. The way to hold the needle in my fingers, sewing in the direction of the stitch, how to manipulate the fabric to keep the chain going. While I practiced chain stitch, I thought about all the threads that link generations and how easily untrained hands can get the stitches all twisted up, how the needle can miss the loop and break the chain. I thought about chain stitch while my hands learn to work the needle, how I am linked to my mother, that I am the little loop that grew out of hers, and how I will not produce a child, how I am making a break in the chain. I had to practice enough that my hands knew the stitch better than my mind ever would. Chain stitch has been so called because it imitates more or less the links of a simple chain, May wrote. It will be seen that each little loop grows out of the last. The needle follows the exact direction in which the line of stitches is to lie. This action must be then repeated thousands of times, every stitch working with history, tracking back to make a new stitch in the chain. May's chain stitch diagram depicts the needle and thread, which seems to enter the paper it was printed on. It's misleading, seeing that it only diagrams a single stitch in a chain, which relies upon the last loop to hold it. It is a diagram without the body, showing only what it can learn. The meaning of unpicking is to cut or remove the stitches from a line of sewing. Unpicking is instructive, but also destructive, in that the embroidery is gradually destroyed. Unpicking is ideally not something you have to do. It is violent, a kind of material erasure in pursuit of embodied knowledge. Once the old stitches have been unpicked, Once the old stitches had been unpicked, Jane and May repeated them over and over like a sacred utterance. The stitches they learned from old embroideries and homely examples were practiced and repeated until their bodies knew how to make their own. When stitching, the mind of the needleworker is always elsewhere, outside of the body, on the act of learning or remembering through touch. Unpicking old work and making new stitches is only half the task. You need to pass that knowledge on, teach someone else how to do them, so they too can learn the lessons they contain. I wanted to know what unpicking the past and all its versions might reveal about a future life. What if you unpicked your own relation to gender and sexuality, to family, love and sex, work and rest? Is it possible to go too far? If you unpick everything, then there's nothing left, just a mess of threads. Everything unfixed, broken, impossible to repair.